Today I'd like to talk to you about balancing the DJI Ronin-S gimbal with a Panasonic GH5. Balancing the gimbal is similar for cameras, just different positions. Would also like to show you some of the problems or shortcomings of the Ronin-S as I go along. As you know, it comes in a nice polystyrene box, and to put it back in the box you have to unscrew everything, put all the arms back to the original position, put it in, and then to get it out in the field you have to then go and put it all out and basically rebalance and all that sort of stuff. So that's a pain in the butt, and I just wanted to show you one of the design flaws, in my opinion, that most of the gimbal makers do, and why it is a problem in several areas. This is the backpack I use for carting my gear around. I used to have camera cases and you have the arm strap and that sort of thing, but sometimes when you go overseas in the seedy areas, shifty areas, people can actually open your bag and take your stuff out. And I've been in Africa where a group of people have knocked over a tall guy and he had his backpack and they all pulled all the stuff out of it and ran away, and by the time he's got to his feet everyone's ran in different directions. So a backpack is a good investment, but there's also a good style of a backpack, and that's these ones that actually open from the back. So when you wear your backpack, you can't get your camera out from it. You have to actually take it off and then undo it. That way, if there's people trying to grab stuff from your backpack, they can't. But I wanted to show you just how much space in the backpack. So let's say, so here's roughly halfway. So this is it all in there. I haven't finished designing it all because I had to whip out the old liners and took all the other lenses out and all that sort of stuff. So that's it fitting in there. Now with the camera on, the problem with the arms, as I keep saying, in there they're not laying flat. They're not going in each other like that, like they should. So then they could lay flat and you could have some foam on there and, you know, go on a rough road and be nice and secure and protected, and you could have another piece of foam on the top. But no, as I said in the original video, the arms hit each other. So they don't lay flat, they lay on top of each other. So each bump is one arm hitting into the other arm. And as you know, there's thin cabling, very thin wires, that plated sort of plastic cable, electronic cable, and so metal rubbing, poor design again. I've just added a piece of foam, one of the shorter pieces just on there for the moment, plastic to hold the power pack handle and the tripod extension legs into one position. So what you have to then do is unzip it, get your battery pack out, get your arms, and I'll just show you here what I mean about the hitting. See there? So when it's trying to lay flat, if they all could lay flat, the camera could lay and everything could be nice and flat. So that's basically it, laying flat like that. Sits here like that. Or if you swing it around the other way, sits flat like that. So, as I keep saying, it's not a good solution. So, enough of that gripe. Now, let's get back to why we're here, is the balancing. So, I've recharged my battery. It took, I'd say over 3 hours to get charged up. So when it's charged, you put your thread in there, nip it up tight, open the legs. You've done that. I've got the camera on, you won't have the camera on, okay? You get the opening is away from you, the terminals and the control face you, so it slides from the opening towards you, If it doesn't slide in, check that the lock there is unlocked, push it all the way home, and it's done. You'll see there's a Ronin label, sits in there. So the first thing you have to do is fit your camera to the quick change plate. Now when you do that, you've got that screw that I showed you in the other video, the 1/4 inch screw, fit it anywhere. So you can have the camera all the way at the back, all the way at the front, move along, all that sort of thing. I'll just give you some numbers to make it quick to set up. But on the lens that came with my camera was the 12 to 60 millimeter, fitted to the GH5. You take the little lens support and you fit that first. Then where the camera between the focus and the zoom, there's a little recess, a little groove. Line that up, the rollers to line up with that. Then you know whenever you put the GH5 with that particular lens, that's where it fits. Because there are so many combinations. You have your camera here and the quick change plate there, or there, or there. And how do you remember? So balancing it depends on it going back in the same position every time. And if you keep changing positions, you will get into trouble quick. It takes longer, you're wasting your time. Every day you wake up, you're a day closer to your grave. So don't waste it doing the same balancing act all the time. You put that on. That's the first thing you do. Secure it. Now, trouble with digital still cameras and the difference between video cameras, on a proper video quick change plate, it has an anti-rotation pin, and on the bottom where you have that 1/4 hole, about 3/8, it varies between manufacturers, there's maybe a 4mm hole, and that's a solid hole, and that fits on, and when you tighten the screw the camera doesn't move. You will notice that as soon as you tighten this up, your camera may be pointing that way, but it will start to sway. So turn your camera upside down, put your plate on with the screw, and then with your eyesight level the edge of the quick change plate with the lens so as they both look parallel. Nip it up. Now just to give you some dimensions of the numbers on my plate, with the rollers in line with the groove in the lens, like I've told you. The camera at the back here is sitting at the just under the 8 mark, which is 8 centimeters, so it's at 79 millimeters. 7-9. So whenever I will put that camera on, I will have I'll write down a little list of the dimensions, and it is at 7-9. That is the camera on the quick change plate. So that's read off, just trying to line it up here by eye. You can get yourself a steel ruler and measure from there to there and write that down. Then on the front measurement, this is the position of the quick change plate to the block here. It's reading 0, large line, small line. So that means 6 millimeters. It's reading at the 6 millimeter mark. So 6 millimeters to slide in and out, and the other dimension was for the position of the camera. So that will save you probably half an hour of mucking around trying to slide it. Because my main concern is that because of the design, they make these arms in the wrong position. Here is the center line of the lens. For a gimbal to work properly, especially when you're trying to do the Dutch tilt, which is a big rave, oh look, I can do a Dutch tilt, that means that the center of the lens needs to be in the center of rotation, so as it rotates around. This makes it offset. So instead of rotating around, it's over here going like that, distracting, poor quality. And the reason why is they simply put these arms on the wrong side. I repeat, they put these arms on the wrong side. Most cameras are made for right-hand people. In other words, the grip is normally on the right hand because most people are right-handed and therefore the right hand is stronger. So they put the grip, and that's where the battery is. That's where all the weight is. So as you can see here, I've had to push it virtually touching the motor just to try to get it across, and it's useless. When I'm going to do the rotation, it will be oblong. Also, it then hits. So not only would you get this operation when you try to do it, you can try it and it smashes into there. Damages your motors, damages your electronics, damages your frame, ruins your shot. So what I wanted to do was shift this arm in as far as possible. But you can't. Why? Because the battery, all the weight is on that side. Look how much of the camera is on that side of the lens, look how much cameras are on the other side. This arm should be on the left hand side of the camera, not the right hand side. Most manufacturers make that stupid mistake. Why? Because the screens flip out that way. But we're not doing selfies. We're using the screen at the back of the camera, so it's in the center. Other reason why they do it is because the cable connections are normally on that side, the electronics. However, they can make hollow motors. You can buy them to put cables through. And also, with this being on the other side, you could allow, say, 10mm, 15mm for a HDMI plug, something like that, to fit. But if you look at my other videos on monitoring the setup, you don't need HDMI. So that's a problem. So I'll show you how to balance it, but it's not the way I want it to be. What I will be doing is I'll be making up another plate, and all here is free space. Now when the lens comes to tilt around, just clear. But look how much room is at the back. This camera can move back, also on this particular side here. This camera can move back that much. So what I will be designing and selling is a plate that fits in there and shifts the camera back and across. It needs to actually move about 40mm because of the shape of the battery pack. I would switch the arm the other way, but they have all the wiring all the way in through there. They should have a plug that you can take out and change the arm to the left or the right. But no, they won't do that. So showing you how to balance it is to show you how to balance it in its limitations. So what you then do is you put it on the plate. You can have a lens hood, can make a difference. So you decide whether you're going to use a lens hood. However, if I take off the lens cap and I then put these are the differences in weight, how much does the lens cap weigh, that can upset your balance. That's why it needs to be fairly accurate and fairly constant in your setup. So you set that plate in and you move it forward and back and you hang on onto this arm until you get it as good as you can. So that happens that way. And if you use those dimensions, that's okay. But I'll just show you something now. If you zoom the lens out. So again, depends on what lens setting you're using. You're going to have a cap, all that sort of thing. So you may need a little notebook with all these measurements in. So then once you've done that, you then try to get it to balance this way. And if it falls forward, you look at the center line. If it tilts this way, it's too heavy up the top. If it drops back, it's too heavy on the bottom. So what you do is I'll just give you that measurement, and that is on this scale here. But if you've got a different camera, you put it on and just say it drops down like that. You look at your measurement and let's just say it's 30. You then undo the lever, push it down to 40. If it drops back, you know you've gone too far. If it's still the same, you undo the lever, you move it back to 50. Then drops back, if it drops the other way, then you know balance is between 40 and 50. You then undo it, tap it to 45, then you see which way it goes. Then if it's between 40 and 45, you try 42.5. If it's between 45 and 50, you try 47. So you halve your amount each time. Some people, they tap it, they move it, and they're just a dog chasing their tail. So you adjust that in this position to see how it's going. So again, it should stay in, hang on to the other arm, should stay in all the various positions. So as you can see, that's then balanced in that position. Then it's this sideways balancing motion. To get that weight, fit whatever you want to fit first, except for HDMI cable, because that's going to cause trouble. Fit the little cable there. You can see I put the white dot like I mentioned to it. I haven't balanced it with this on. If you look at the other videos of how I've put the coil on, you may be asking why. If you got the loop hanging down here loose, even that's hitting. So it could actually grab around that arm, let's say, and as it zooms up, rip your connectors out. So you really need, I might even make that smaller and tighter. Again, that's another problem why I can't shift it across that way. You're then starting to get these errors. We can see that even on that, so that's slightly making a difference. I won't be using this because, like I said, with the monitoring, I'll be focusing a different method. If you are going to use your arm, your monitor, let's say oh yeah, I want my monitor down here so as when I'm looking at it I can tell it. You will not be able to balance it that well. The measurement on this particular one here is, from this side it's on 11 and the other side's about 52. So again, if you had your ruler, measure that. So if you use those measurements, so that's reasonably balanced. You've added those different combinations. So that's a different axis. So then you have to then say, all right, and this can be, again, the more difficult one. You hang on to it and it needs to not tilt too far this way or that way. So that is in reasonable balance. You got to make sure you get it back to the right position. That's where the Ronin comes in. So it's all balanced now. So you've done your test, you've checked it, you put whatever you need on. So I'll put those numbers up on the screen now for you so as you know what they are. And the next step is to see how it goes. Press once for the motor. It's going. And there it is. I haven't gone into the app and adjusted the different modes. This is just the default. So we spin around and go to mode 2. I think that's go mode 2. We go like that. So if you want the gimbal to go left, the button's left. If you want the gimbal to go right, button's right. If you want the gimbal to go up, you press up. If you want the gimbal to go down, it goes down. extremely quiet motors. So that is how you balance your GH5 on the DJI Ronin-S. If they ever could fix that problem, you can take off the tripod, the battery, put it in your backpack, and we'll see how quickly you can set it up. Actually, I'll do that now for you. We'll unlock it, we'll slide it out, I'll just sit it down, I'll take the arms off. Okay, you've got it out of your backpack, put it on there. Ready, set, go. We're ready to go. How many seconds was that? Buy yourself a backpack, email DJI and say, put that arm on the other side, I can fit in my backpack, won't damage anything, I can balance it better, I can get better Dutch rolls. Everyone's happy. So if you want any questions answered, just subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching, and there'll be more out on the series.